After we had rested, on the very next day, we grouped up and headed out to help Pierre. Above average intelligence and strange abilities set this creature apart from his peers. Deadly specimen indeed. Take it out, but take heed of what I said. No one will be able to survive my attacks. This creature seems to be a very different zombie than normal. It had a large belly that seemed would explode any time. As we were attacking, we tried to avoid his large belly. Alphonse started as always by fading into the darkness and attacked this big guy, then followed up by several stabs. I followed up by lunging at it, immobilizing it, and then double slashing it dead. After focusing all our attacks on this very big guy, there were only 3 simple skeletons left, and they were very simple to deal with, and we came out flawlessly. Splendid work. I've learned so much from this session. I heard you're putting a team together to investigate the undead threat, which would allow plenty of opportunities for me to study them further. Consider me interested and invested. I may appear old and fragile, but I have much wisdom to offer. I appreciate your offering, but my party is currently full and you'll have to wait your turn. Not really wanting to change my party members, I decided to just head to the bandit lair to help Captain Roderick. However, on the way, we happened upon a group of skeletons. This group had 2 elites among their ranks. It seemed we were in trouble. However, Alphonse quickly moved in onto the marksman and fiercely stabbed it 11 times to kill it straight away. At least, that's what we thought. Still, it did seem that it was almost teetering on the brink of death. I was a bit too far away and there were 2 skeletons between that marksman elite and I, so I launched at the swordsman and then used the shattering strike, damaging both of these 2 skeletons. Catherine, being the only person to be able to reach both skeletons, killed the normal swordsman and then smote the marksman elite to death. Left on its own, the elite swordsman rushed me and struck me heavily. Then the normal marksman also shot me, the arrow hitting my arm. However, I had my armor up, so I only took a little bit of damage. Still, it hurt like hell. Alphonse, even though he was quite far away, rushed in towards me and joined the battle against the elite swordsman. He first struck it very hard, then I slashed it 4 times and eventually broke through its shield and killed it. Catherine, following up our defeat of the elite, struck the marksman and finally killed it. Finally, we're heading into the bandits' lair and we will take them out right now. As we descended into the lair, we heard raucous cheering and clanging of swords echoing through the corridors. The bandits must be celebrating their spoils. When we arrived down the entrance, we headed down the corridor and ran into a group of monsters right away. Alphonse responded the fastest again by stabbing the closest spider, killing it instantly. I was more focused on killing the elite bat, so I launched at it. However, it then flew away behind the other spiders. Having only a sword, I could only kill the spiders first to get to the bat. So I slashed at the first spider on bat. Then, without warning, 2 of the spiders attacked us. However, we reacted in time and blocked their attacks. Catherine, trying to help us, smashed it dead. Still, the many other creatures, bats and spiders alike, didn't like that and they attacked us very aggressively. Seeing an opportunity, Alphonse was able to sneak up to the elite bat and then slashed it to death. Then he turned towards the other bat and stabbed it a bunch, making it fly away. The spiders retaliated by retching, but it was mainly blocked by Alphonse's armor. Catherine was next, and she immediately went up to one of the spiders and bashed it dead. Then I was able to double slash the last bat. Dead. And then there was only one. Alphonse sneaked up to it and stabbed it right in the abdomen. After we finally ended this fight against these spiders, we continued to explore the hideout. And somehow we came across a marble fountain. Clear water flowed from it. It seemed like it was safe to drink. However, just to be safe, I tested the water out with some of our supplies, trying to see if it's poisonous or not. We distilled a bit of the liquid to determine its contents, and it proved to be a good course of action because we actually discovered various toxic compounds in the water. Yeah, that was close. Disappointed, but still relieved, we left the fountain behind and continued on. Not much has happened for about another 2 hours before we came around something shiny buried in the dirt. And curious, I decided to investigate it. What we found were some coins and a piece of armor. It was good for Alphonse, but he had much better armor, so it was probably meant to be disassembled. And as we kept on exploring, we came into an empty room with a bunch of gold and equipment the bandits left here. This was probably a storage space. So, we ransacked the place of all its valuables. Wait, does this mean we are the actual bandits? No, of course not. We were taken back what the bandits took from all the citizens. And so, we continued to explore the hideout, trying to find more of their loot. This time, we were unlucky and we ran straight into a group of bandits guarding what looked like the equipment room for them. Alphonse started his normal routine again by fighting into the shadows and then slashing and stabbing multiple times at the largest dude. Then I followed up and lunged at him for the kill. Turning around, I pivoted to double slash at another thug, killing him without hesitation. It's kill or be killed. Catherine saw that we were doing pretty well, so she went for the elite spear thug, smacking it a bunch of times. I guess they were afraid of us killing their comrades, and probably fearing for their lives, they didn't do anything. Still, there were no mercies to be spared. And so Alphonse slashed and killed the lesser thug right beside the elite. And last but not least, Catherine and I focused down the elite spearman, finishing this fight without taking a single hit. There are just so many groups of these bandits. Not that long after, we ran into another group in what seems like a meeting room. Alphonse opened the fight again by sneaking up on the big dude and backstabbing him, striking him right in the heart. Right after, I followed up launching at one of the spearmen and then slashing him down. Then I pivoted to the next spearman and slashed at him. Catherine was the slowest to react, but she was able to bash one of the remaining spearmen and then smote both him and the slug behind. But she was able to bash one of the remaining spearmen and then smote both him and the slug beside him. The first slug died, but the second one got to live. She was then able to cast Debilitating Bolt and then killed him. The spearman earlier damaged by me was still alive, and he rushed at Alphonse, damaging him slightly. Good thing it wasn't anything serious, and some resting would be sufficient to get him back to top shape. He was able to sustain the injury and swung his dagger at the spearman, killing him straight away. However, right after, the bad thing that happened was the arrival of reinforcements. They probably were nearby guards that have heard the ruckus and came to investigate. Still, no matter, we'll get through these guys too. One of the spearmen ran right at me, and so, retaliating, I double slashed him. Catherine was behind me, and she saw the opportunity to bash this spearman to death. Then she turned around on the other spearman and bashed it too. The brute came up and struck Catherine. However, she was able to block the hit, but suffered a slight scratch. Alphonse was up on his game in this fight. He struck the brute and then stabbed him dead right away, letting him learn his place. Since he had that brute, I launched at the other brute and double slashed him, leaving him very wounded. Catherine was then able to smite the spearman first and then bash the brute dead. We thought the fight was over, however, we saw two other bandits coming our way and readied ourselves for the upcoming fight. As soon as they got in range, Alphonse went for the spearman immediately, dealing massive damage. I followed up and killed him right away then and there. There was only one bandit left after. However, when Catherine attacked him, his bodily force tried to push her back, and in the process damaging her pretty heavily. Good thing was that after Catherine's first attack, she was able to attack a second time without much trouble, and thus we killed him right away after without taking much damage. As we continued onwards, we saw another fountain, and this time it was clearly a healing fountain where we could heal ourselves. And so, after healing, we headed right down the stairs. After walking for about 100 meters, we came across an elaborate stone altar, and there was a receptacle on top that fits a single equipment. So, wanting to see what this magic altar did, we tried to place a normal spear on it. A great burst of smoke and light pulsed from the altar, and we were forced to shield our eyes. When the dust settled, we found the altar dead silent, its magic discharged. Instead of the spear that we placed earlier, we found something else instead. And it was a pair of shoes? Really? That was such bad magic. I thought the magic of the old world is supposed to be good. Whatever, at least we didn't lose anything valuable. Nonetheless, we continued onwards towards the center of the bandit lair. We saw the boss right away, and Alphonse was not hesitant to start striking him. And he kept on striking him multiple times before fading back into the shadows. Catherine was quick to react this fight, and she bashed the boss several times before she smote him along with another thug beside him. I felt that we couldn't have rushed him down, so instead I put my shield up, trying to attract some damage coming our way. The bandit boss went for Alphonse. Even though he parried the attack was so heavy that made his arm numb afterwards. Jumping on this opportunity of close range combat, Alphonse was able to endure the pain and slash at him multiple times. This time, the boss seemed to be on the verge of death. Catherine was not feeling well from the previous fight, so she only used debilitating bolt on the boss, but that was not sufficient to kill him. Picking up her slacks, I slashed the boss down. After the bandit boss died, I double slashed the spearman that got smote earlier, finishing him. Catherine then went for the final spearman, struck the final blow on him and killed him right away. Finally, we cleaned up the whole bandit layer and killed the bandit boss. It's now time to head back to Silverkeep. After heading back onto the surface, we headed straight back towards Silverkeep. We arrived back at the town before night and reported back to Captain Roderick. Well fought. With the warehouses back in our hands, we can double down on our efforts to secure the city's walls. Alright, hopefully this is the final fight I have to do for you guys. It'll take me some time to organize the defense effort. In the meantime, you might want to head over to Wines. A research into your encounter with the Reef Lord might have turned up something. Ah, finally we were going to get some answers. There you are. Now, I'm afraid my investigations into the Reef Lord's encounter has turned up nothing so far. But I do have another task for you. What do you mean? Both you and Captain Roderick just tricked me into doing another task for you? Some of my apprentices in the field have reported that the ancient Vanai shrines, which we value as heritage icons from the past, seems to have awakened. Are you sure that has nothing to do with what the Reef Lord is doing? The timing is too coincidental. I suspect they could have a link to the undead invasion. On the other hand, destroying the shrine could be a straightforward way to end our troubles. Are we just stuck doing different tasks for this town? And then I saw the Reef Lord by the breach of the wall. My blood chilled as I laid my eyes on him. The Reef Lord seemed to be giving instructions to a robed figure, who by all accounts appeared to be a necromancer of sorts. Shortly after, the Reef Lord left through the breach, leaving the necromancer in charge.